Alright, so I'm just driving. Let me just talk about my feelings on getting my license at 23 years old. So here's the story, kids. I'm bored, this is why I'm making this, and I kind of know where I'm going. Lovely old Mary at 15 and a half years old signs up for good old driver's ed at good old early college in a good old local town. I was petrified and went through driver's ed, passed by the scrape of my teeth. And when we had to do the whole driver part, where it was like, what was it, like two or three? It's 3 days. It was just 3 days with a good old friend of mine, who I don't talk to anymore. And I was still petrified. I was nervous. I was a nervous driver from day fucking one. I feel like I'm speeding. And like I barely passed. I barely fucking passed. I got my permit literally like the day after they set in that new rule for the recording the hours shit. And I was just not motivated to get my license. I wasn't motivated to do the hours thing, and I was just nervous every time I drive. I was so nervous, and it was bad. I just was so scared. And so my parents never pushed me. I didn't want to push myself because I didn't want to put anybody in danger. I just never drove. And so I missed the year deadline for the hours thing to get my license shit. And my brother is 22 months younger than me. And so I still have my permit. It was expiring when I was 18. But when he reached 15 and a half and did driver's ed, he was like, I really want my license. And my parents talked to me, and he talked to me. It's like, is it okay if your brother gets your license before you? And I was like, yeah, sure, go right ahead. I don't give a shit. So, and I never got comfortable driving. So but my brother was a natural. He felt comfortable behind the wheel, and so he went through driver's ed, got his permit, and then got his license as soon as he could. Which is 16? No, it's not. Is it 18? Is it 18? I don't know. I know you're supposed to have your license for a certain amount of time before you get the license, but he has license as soon as he could. I think it's 17. And he drove us to school. He had a Bronco. He had an old 60-something Bronco that felt like it was floating. And we would listen to 21 Pilots, the entire CD for quite a few weeks, and then he would switch to CDs. But he drove to school, and he had his license, way before me. And that was fine. That was perfectly fine. Because I went to a school that was close by. My mother either took us, and then took us in the morning, and then we took the bus home. And then Matthew drove us, so I had no need. I absolutely had no need to drive. And then I went off to college. To a college I can walk. It's like a 5-minute walk from the very edge to the other very edge. Maybe 8 minutes if you really count the whole property, 8-10 minutes. It was a school I didn't need a license for. And my parents were 45 minutes away. And so they would, freshman year, I would come home every other weekend, and then I realized, I'm not getting work done when I go home. So I stopped going home all that often, but my parents could still pick me up. And then, my fiance could, then boyfriend, but yeah, whatever. My fiance, once he got his new job and got a new work schedule, he could take me home on Fridays. So there was no need. And then I had a bunch of friends who had their licenses. And so, I could walk to Food Line that was next by the school if I really needed food. But if I needed to go to Walmart or something, I would either wait for Spencer to come over, or I would wait for a friend if they wanted to go to Walmart or something. I had no need. I absolutely had no need. And so, now at 23, I got my permit at 23. I think I got it after my 22nd birthday. So, because I got it, I think. I can't remember. I need to look on the date. But this past year or so, like, especially, like, towards the end of, like, last year. Wait. Yeah, I was 22, I got my permit. Okay, I'm getting messed up on my dates.
In 1 mile, turn left on Flat Rock Church Road.
Yeah, I know where I'm going, ways. But this past, year or so, especially in 2019, my last school year, and then, like, the end of my junior year, I realized I really needed my license. Because I need to apply for jobs, and I was starting to feel suffocated and kind of feel useless, because a lot of my friends were like, hey, Mary, meet us up. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't get a ride. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, like, I really needed it. So I got my permit, and then before the summer, before 2019 summer, and so I've literally been trying to practice, and I was a nervous driver. I couldn't get comfortable. And then during the summer, I went on a beach trip with my lovely, lovely fiance, and he got too drunk one night. We were safe in the house, but he took it too far. And so he was
Turn
sick.
left on Flat Rock Church Road.
And it was literally the night before we had to leave. And he was sick for the whole rest of the next day. The day we had to drive back 4 hours back home. And so I drove. I had my permit. He was good old licensed person. And so I drove 3 hours of the trip home. He was able to drive the last hour or so. He drove us a little bit out of town. But I drove home, and I learned very, very quickly to have confidence in myself. And so it was very much a trial and error thing on the go. I think I almost ran into a car, like, straight, like, as soon as I got the wheel. But I became...
miles. Turn right on East Wind Drive.
I know where I'm going! I became comfortable really quick. And so after that, my confidence got better, and then camp just helped my confidence overall. So I decided, like, I need to try for my license. So I didn't get it until freaking end of February. So I've only had it for, like, oh man, I've had it for a week by this Friday, by tomorrow. So now I'm just more comfortable behind the wheel. Yes, I'm 23. There's kids out there that have been driving longer than me. Like, my younger brother has been driving longer than me. Driving for years. My fiance has been driving longer than me. But I feel like I was okay. It was good to wait. Because even though the trip fell into play with me getting confidence and camp and everything else, but I feel like I was just more prepared and allowed myself the time to get comfortable, and I had my permit for a while, so I had it for I don't think for a year, but I had it for a while, so I feel like it helped me get the practice in, have people that I'm comfortable with in the car to drive with me. So I doubt anybody watched this. I'll probably upload this to YouTube, but, like, anyone's out there like, oh, I don't have my license yet, I'm 18, like, wait,
turn right on East Wind Drive.
If you're nervous driving, if you have your permit and you're nervous driving or something, I mean, don't push yourself to drive. Don't push yourself to get your license when you're not prepared to. Driving a 2-ton vehicle, I mean, it's scary. Driving's scary, and I'm still scared, but I'm more confident. I'm driving solo for the first time, and I mean, I feel confident.
You've arrived at your destination.
I feel confident in my driving because I'm confident in myself now. So if you're questioning whether to get your license just because the rest of your friends are, like, don't push yourself. Leave it all at a good time, and that's really the life lesson here. Like, all things come. So yeah, driving should not be something you should push yourself because it's scary. Yeah, life lessons with Mary. It's dark now. Hope this was entertaining. I don't know. Now it's 10 minutes. Bye.